Alright, I am here with Azusa. I know. Fascinating. I've never played it. Um, it's the most simple deck ever, in my opinion. Probably even more simplistic than Keenan, where you just play this on either turn 2 or 3, preferably turn 2, but there's not too many ways to do that. And then you vomit a bunch of lands into play, and then you kind of hope you have a big threat to use all those lands with. There are a few ways to find creatures from your deck, so it's not like you're playing completely just out of hand, like you would if you're playing Minion of the Mighty, that combo. That's not Historic Brawl, but the same vein. Um, Keenan, kind of just literally vomit your hand and then just activate Keenan. Keenan has payoff within himself. This does not have a payoff within the card, so it basically has to come from hand. But you do have some card draw. I'm running more lands than I've ever ran in any deck ever. I think it's 40 lands, and then there's a bunch of like cards that turn into lands. Like, well, I mean, you know what they are. I don't have to find them. Stuff like this, Balagate Recovery and stuff. So a ton of lands. Just trying to get them in play as fast as possible. I like Gigantosaurus. I think it's a hilarious card, and hopefully we get to cast it. The problem is you really want to play fetch lands, even if they're like poop, just because Crucible of Worlds and Random Nap Excavator, I actually pronounced that right, I think, will allow you to recur your lands from the graveyard over and over. So you don't necessarily, if you need like one or two more lands to cheat out something stupid, then that's your way of getting them. You have some card draw like Colossal Majesty, and I believe there's Garruk's Uprising. However, these already demand you have played a large threat, so we'll see. This one needs it to survive as well. Anything else? Where's that one Scry 3? Where are you? Elven Farsight, right? Yeah, this card seems really good, so I'm gonna run it. This card's probably like, if you have, I don't know, let's say 100, you have 99 cards. Let's say like 40 of them are creatures. This is probably always gonna hit something. I have a lot of big threats, so it's pretty likely it'll never miss. I'm not running Once Upon a Time. Actually, can you? I don't even know if you can, but I'm not running it. This card is interesting, and anything to make Azusa interesting, I'm going to throw it in here. It's pretty easy to crew this. It does kind of require a large threat before it starts doing something, which is like post Azusa strategy, so who knows, but it seems cool. It lets me loot, it lets me draw, lets me recur threats, kind of like Crucible of Worlds, just way, way, way worse. It's mono green, so we have Nissa in here. Vorinclex probably has enough targets to reliably hit something, which I've never really done. The mini Vivian has plenty of targets for the plus as well, so, or excuse me, the minus as well. So we'll see if that works. Anything else fancy? Playing lands off the top is pretty nice when you get to play a ton of them. I can shuffle away and then like look again as well, stuff like that. Tender Shoot Dryad with where are you? Yeah, this creates forests. So these kind of combo with forest generation, and if I have I think it works the way I want it to, Scute Swarm in play, every Scute Swarm is a forest, right? Or these are non-token. Never mind. Everything I just said is not true. This is non-tokens only. Never mind. I was lying through my teeth. Never mind. In fact, this probably isn't good then. I don't know. We'll keep it in for now. It's one of the, 5+ mana threat, and that's all this deck wants to do. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think there's anything else in here that stands out to me. It's just a straightforward Azusa strategy, so like, comment, subscribe. Remember, I stream over on Twitch about 6:30 Eastern. Let's go. uh, I do not like this commander. Oh, I forgot to talk about this card. I don't know if it'll do anything. It hasn't done anything yet, but Alright, well, I mean, sure. I almost want, like, more lands. I don't see the appeal of appeal of Azusa if, like, every land is like, oh, this every hand has, like, 3 lands in it. It's like, why do I care about Azusa? My opponent has Pact of Negation in hand. Interesting. That it is. That it is. Yep, why wouldn't I do this? Put that there. Okay. I guess I'm just running out Beseiju for free. Opponent does not have blue on turn 2. That's interesting. So this is slightly better in this position than Azusa herself, actually. So I guess we just play that. Given the context, the texture of the hand, so they say. Still nothing. Probably actual counter magic, though. Alright, so do I play Azusa now? I could just go for Vivian Reed, actually. Unchecked Planeswalkers are just good, so... Just feels fine to try that. Oh, no. So I can play this, get some treasure tokens, I guess. Not treasure, I mean clue tokens. And I guess I play Azusa? It's not like I'm doing anything else. Sure. It's not exactly that scary. Ritual of Soot. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we just keep taking that up, I guess. So I play you now. And I look for a land off of Adventurous Impulse. Or is this only creatures? No, it's lands as well. Alright, apparently they really don't want to play against that card, which surprises me, but so be it. Toski's good, but I can't actually hit my opponent with the 3/3 sitting in play, so it's not actually all that good. So I have 6, 7 mana. I can cast Titan next turn. My opponent shocked themselves. That's strange. I wonder why they did that. Keep ticking this up. Sure. Hard to say no to Grave Titan. Hard to say no to a Grave Titan. When was the last time I actually resolved this? I have no idea. Alright, well that doesn't kill it, I guess. Does this get exiled right when it dies? Yeah, it's done. Do I tick this up? No, I think I keep it on 6 and start cheating out my 6 drops. I'm going to lead with an attack, see what they do. Alright, let's lead with the Great Hedge, and then Harmonize. Portal to Phyrexia is good, and so is Crucible. These are pretty good here, but they're not really that amazing if I can't, like, resolve them. Actually, kind of just dead. Cut down. Sure. Guess I'm never playing Azusa again. Not that it was doing anything. So, no discard spell would be nice? Okay, that's actually a discard spell. It's just delayed a turn. Obviously, Crucible Worlds is better in this spot, but I have to, like, get there. Alright, I get an attack before I get to make a decision, which is nice. They actually just block here. Really? Okay, sure. Yeah, that works. Guess I should have swung with the token? I don't know. Resolving Crucible Worlds feels really good, so I'll do that. And then play you. And then I can play Azusa and do that a few more times. Didn't think Azusa would do anything this game. Land, you may play lands from your graveyard. Yep, so I can repeatedly do that. It's not just once a turn. Oh, right, if you flicker this, you get another clock. Oh, okay. Right, so I guess flicker effects are worthwhile. Okay, they should have done this before I got the second land off of it. It's kind of weird. I can actually just spam that, because as long as I have a repeating card, it just spams itself. Doesn't matter what they take, because I have Crucible of Worlds, so until they deal with that, I can just kind of continuously threaten them with a card every turn, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough. Well, it's only been one flicker so far. Well, I have mana for Ulamog, so maybe I can tick this instrument up to that now? Maybe? Well, the One Ring would be good. Let's see. They didn't do anything about it, wow. So... Oh, right, I can't cast more spells. Can I do this at any time? I can. Okay. All three of that was relevant. It's kind of funny. All three parts of that card were doing things. Sorin can kill me if I'm lower than 13, which is fairly likely. Palaka Worm seems decent. I don't expect Thorn Mammoth to resolve, so... Part of me wants to block here. I probably should, because if I go down to 8, then they just need less instances of spells to trigger Rusko and kill me. No, maybe I'll find Thorn Mammoth and it'll do something. Okay, so let's play... you? Actually, you know what? Let's lead with Llanowar Elves. That way I can draw a card first. Okay. Let's lead with Palaka Worm this time. And then I can play Titan of Industry if I have to. I think my opponent is actually very scared of Titan of Industry. More so than anything else. The One Ring could actually kill me this game. Could actually just kill me. So there's merit in not letting that be a thing. Alright, there's also merit that there's a chance my opponent just doesn't have any stuff here. I'm out of, like, Sorin kill me range, I guess? Kind of. Tail's End is... well, it's a little annoying. It's most likely going to be a Stifle before it's a counter spell. Okay, that's a very odd attack. But, I mean, I am forced to block here. Yeah, they just wanted to... they just wanted to do that. So this is what they would Tail's End. They were going to Tail's End something. Because I'm not going to find a legendary card here. We draw off the Palaka Worm. Line up the shot is decent. I'm still suffering. This is still just active misery. Yep, let's take that up. Alright, so let's lead with Cultivator Colossus. My opponent probably doesn't even care about this, to be honest with you. It is an easy threat to remove. It doesn't have haste. It doesn't have evasion. It's just like, it just sits there. But hopefully it just cycles a lot of lands. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter when they do this, so they could have just held that removal spell. Now they lost Tail's End. Well, unless they found it again. I think this trigger still happens, though. They did not Tail's End this trigger. Oh, baby, let's go. Yes. Oh, man, is this heaven? Is it worth it? Alright, I'm not even upset if I lose this game now. Oh, yes. Okay, that was very satisfying, I must admit. That was quite satisfying. I liked what I just did. Line up the shot on a naturalize? And maybe I can naturalize this midnight clock that's sitting in play? It's not a terrible prospect. I'm not upset with it. Okay, so I expect them to counter this, so I'll just cast it, because I don't really care about it. I just kind of want it out of my... Wow, they didn't counter it? Oh. Ooh, alright. We're going to play this one, even though the other one gains me life, so I can crack this other clue. And there's a good chance I'm never actually tapping the One Ring. Exile target artifact or creature. Okay, it's another flicker effect. Okay, they draw 3 and then have to figure out how to get rid of this at some point. It's not too difficult, though. They have Feed the Swarm. I think it got shuffled back in. Yeah. Bells or something like that. No. Alright, I'm going to just crack this. What exactly does this do? Draw a card, revealed, and encounter drops in this card too. Okay, it doesn't necessarily do anything too crazy. It's like a weird Phyrexian arena. Alright. Well, their draws are stronger, but I mean, their hand is always full anyways. Doesn't really matter. No discard and no attack? Oh, my opponent's aware of the One Ring. Right, they can't swing. Opponents on their P's and Q's. I have almost all the lands out of my deck. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I have like half of them. Alright, so they have to counter this. They have to counter this so we can get a counterspell out of the way. And then I can play Craterhoof. Don't know why they manually tapped. They were like very specific on how they tapped there. It's strange. Thorn Mammoth? Alright, looks like they're... Yep, doing that. Fair enough. This does not give haste to... Craterhoof Behemoth does not give haste to other stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, Nissa. Dodge a... Sweet. Dodge the thing here. So let's play... Forest out of the graveyard. I believe I can spam Ulamog out of the graveyard if it gets countered. So that's also, like, really good here. Yes! Oh my god, we did it. Oh, we did it. We overwhelmed our opponent. So usually, come super late game, when your control opponent doesn't have, like, an onboard serious win condition, they have this stealing life and stuff, and they can keep looping their hand. But unless you have a win condition that is going to close the game out, the big mana deck usually is like a favor matchup in the control thing, because I can just keep creating threats. I can just keep casting threats. You have to answer all of them, because if one gets through, it's going to cascade, right? I have this in play. All my creatures will trigger this. So it's going to kill this, and then I can play, you know... I think I can play... No, I have to play only one thing. So let's say I play Craterhoof Behemoth, I kill Sorin so it doesn't steal 13 life from me, or kill Nissa, and then we're just in a good spot, right? This is dead. This is stuck in play. They're losing life. It's just they're gonna start falling behind. But it did take half my deck to get there. But again, if they don't have a way to close the game out, we can just take this long to actually win the game, which is crazy. And I really don't think this is a game where I would ever tap this. I just cast it for a bait, but my opponent was very, very good. This was actually a very good control player. They made a lot of decisions that a lot of people playing blue-black control probably wouldn't have. I would all but guarantee they had an answer to this, but they wisely assumed it's probably a good bet to try to have me die by my own One Ring, and it was wise of me to not tap it. It wouldn't have come close to killing me in this game, but it could have killed me if things panned out differently. But next turn we can get Ulamog, and then we can actually cast it, and if it gets countered, I can Conduit of Worlds it every turn unless they deal with the graveyard, or they deal with this. And if they're dealing with that, that means they have to deal with it, and then if they have to deal with that, maybe the shields are down and I get through stuff. They seemed very scared of the Titan of Industry as well, and I never went for it. It seemed like every time I was going to go for it, I was like, alright, I'll just keep tapping out till they're out of answers and stuff, because they did seem scared of this card. The Naturalize is alright, but they didn't counter line up the shot, which got a Naturalize, so... Very, very interesting game. Very interesting. Glad to win that one. Oh, it's a mono green deck. Oh my goodness. What does this do? Is this the green Davriel? Am I gonna get green Davriel? So you venture into a dungeon, look at top 6. Emblem with creatures you control have trample and haste for each dungeon. Okay, so it feels like the green Davriel. I've played against this once a long time ago. Pretty spooky. Maybe this is better than Davriel because you can always have it turn 2. Or, excuse me, turn 3. Davriel, you can have it sometimes turn 3. But if I have a threat in play, I guess it's a lot worse to play your commander. Oh no! My weird card. My weird card. Fine. Alright, Azusa. Prepare to be worse than Cultivate again. So you have 5 mana. Can play Vivian Reed next turn, maybe? My opponent plays Vivian. And it crashed my game. Alright, this is not the Vivian Reed I thought it was. It's still a Vivian Reed that is a major problem. I don't really have an answer to it. So I need, like, lands? Yep. Found a land. This Vivian Reed's probably better than mine? Well, in this spot, I guess it kind of is. I don't know. Destiny Spinner's not doing anything. I don't know. I'd rather just plus Vivian Reed one more time. It's like trading the Destiny Spinner for a card for Vivian. Alright, so let's just do this. Vorinclex is good. Vorinclex is good, but I think I would prefer to just utterly threaten my opponent's life with this. Is this good here? I don't feel like this is any good at all. Let's see. Swing, swing. They can easily kill it. I'm just going to play it. I'm going to spend my mana. I'm going to do things. Alright, so I have... This is a... yeah, this is a copy. So the next land is more, and then more, and then more. They have to kill both of these Scute Swarms. I am really riding on the back of these things here. Okay, they can kill one of them. But one is not two. Oh, trample this time. Opponent's getting spicy. We'll see. I have to, like, quickly make a bunch of Scute Swarms. Okay, I did not draw a land. So I guess I'm playing Vorinclex. So we're just hedging on no Crater Hoof, no fight effects. Hopefully it's just like not that kind of green deck. Hopefully it's not that kind of green deck. They're not minusing, which is a good sign, I think. This Vivian is really satisfying, though. I like this. They've not gone for their commander. This might be the turn to do so. Yep. They just start plussing away, right? Look at the top 6. Real creature among them. Put in your hand. Legendaries. Yeah. Alright, so they probably do just start plussing. Complete the fastest dungeon first, or the shortest one, which is this one. Scry 1. Probably a 1/1. They don't really need a treasure token. Steel Leaf Champion. Alright, so definitely more mid-rangey. Definitely more mid-rangey. They could do like a double Alpha Strike. It's not like no damage. It's actually half my life total to swing here. Wow, they don't. Portal to Phyrexia is dummy good as well. Okay. Let's lead... ooh, do we play this first? Actually, no. We're doing this. Lands off the top. Alright, so I have an army of Scute Swarms, and that will not change. And I don't have a favorable attack, I don't think. But neither of us really have a favorable attack, though, to be honest. Portal to Phyrexia could be decent. They don't have a human for Kogla. They can still just swing with Kogla to kill my Great Henge, which is probably reasonable. Actually, it's incredibly reasonable. Yeah, they probably should do that. I think. I'm going to have to Cityscape Leveler this Vivian, though. If they ever decide to minus this and hit something crazy, I'm kind of screwed. As much as I'd love to kill, like, something else. But I guess if they don't swing with Kogla, I can just kill that. That's a Gem Razor? Alright, so we lost this. Assuming they don't kill my Courser. Because that is also an enchantment. But yeah, I would always kill the Great Henge anyways. But they can kill both with a Kogla attack. That's a cool card. Oh, oh, I love this. Ooh. Ooh, that's a cool card. 3-minute 2/5 defender replaces itself. Love it. Don't think it's super strong, but it's in the green mid-range play defense strategy. So this will kill me. I should stop this from killing me, because that emblem means their entire board will literally kill me. Let's see here. Yeah, unfortunately I have to kill... Let's kill Kogla, because if I can get Cityscape Leveler to untap and not die, I'm in a good spot. If I can just have this sit here and swing at least once, because again, this doesn't actually do anything until they complete a dungeon. And if this is the only way to complete a dungeon, I really don't care about it, right? Because it's super slow. But a single instance of a completed dungeon could kill me, or almost will kill me, even with a million Scute Swarms, but we're not quite there yet. I'm going to have to sack this Cityscape Leveler. Just going to have to swing it in. Which is fine. I get this Vivian out of the way. It means no more 3/3s. I really want to hit lands, though. Portal to Phyrexia can also recur this. We'll see. Seldom do I get... Actually, very seldom do I get Portal to Phyrexia value. Alright, let's lead with the attack. Let's swing here. Blow up Vivian Reed. Or Vivian. They just easily kill this in combat with some tokens. Okay. Yep. I was not expecting that. That's fair. I didn't expect to be able to keep that. Okay, getting rid of 3 creatures here is pretty good, so... Could have, like, maybe got lucky with this and hit a bunch of lands, but no, I'm not gonna bother. Honestly, I'll just get rid of this, this, and this. Just get rid of your smallest stuff. I don't think you need the mana off of this. Nope, they keep it. So Crater Hoof kills me. That's for sure. Oh, no Crater Hoof. Next plus will result in an emblem. So these will all get +2/+2 and trample. Which they basically already have trample anyway, so. Mainly just +2/+2. Shrunk my Vorinclex. That's actually toxic. I wonder if there's merit in possibly swinging and blowing up a creature and attacking this. Maybe that makes more sense, but I don't know. I don't know. Is killing a creature worth it? I am almost just dead. Okay. What do I take? 7? Let's kill this. That can be spooky. No, let's kill this. I want to kill something that also keeps Kagla alive. I think that makes sense. Let's lead with... I don't think I want this. I don't really need that. Ooh, regrowth is pretty good here. My own Kagla is also pretty good. I cannot currently draw this to have more Scute Swarms. That's fine. I believe that was my first land for the turn. Okay. Swing at you? No, we swing here. Yeah, we swing here and we kill a creature. Let's kill this. That way, if they block to kill my Cityscape Leveler, I get to kill their Planeswalker and more creatures. Alright, good, good. So let's kill the 2 tokens, right? Because I'd rather them not have that. Just be another threat. Alright, this is fair. Okay, so a dungeon is not lethal currently, but that doesn't mean they can't find lethal out of hand. Okay, so next turn they will have the ability... This can find Craterhoof Behemoth. Oh, it can find it right now. Okay, they didn't see it. They didn't see it. They did not discard a card to find Craterhoof. They didn't... Maybe they don't have it in their deck. I would argue they don't, because they didn't do it. I guess I should have killed this Preserver, huh? Oh, God. Alright, stop finding creatures, please. Alright, here comes the Math is for Blockers attack, I guess. But they're dead if this doesn't work. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 14. 14. And then you can block here. You can block here. And 1, 2. Let's see. 1. How much damage is this? 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus another 12. 17, 18, 19, 20. It's not 20. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's 19, and then they're dead when I swing back? No, they're not. But this feels good. Okay. No combat tricks. Actually, wait, let's just take the Shaman. Can win me the game at some point. Okay, so let's swing with Kagi Boy here. And blow up one of their random power thingies. They might as well block. This thing has defender. Yeah, you might as well block. I really wish I hit a land. I did not. Do I play my own Kogla and kill another threat? It's also like a... No, we're going to play this. I gain life and I... Yeah. And then I play this. Because I don't have anything else to do. Okay, still sketchy. Still super, super sketchy here. This is the second emblem. Oh, the second emblem does work, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Okay. I was going to say you need to complete a second dungeon, but no, it just works. Again, almost dead, but not quite. Guardian Idol doesn't do it. The Faceless Haven doesn't kill me, but they're still on the math is for blockers mindset. I actually have a 210 right here. That's hilarious. Can soak an entire creature. Let's see how they swing. I mean, they're activating the Faceless Haven, so it has to be an Alpha Strike. Alright, I'm going to protect my Scooty boys by not blocking with them. Yes! Yes! Alright. So yeah, so we block this with the 210, I guess, right? And they bounce off each other. Wow, that actually came into relevance. I kill... Palaka Worm blocks Faceless Haven because I want that dead. No, I think Worm blocks the Druid. And then... Okay, no, Kogla is tapped. Kogla's tapped. I'll say letting Kogla die is fine because it comes back and kills something again. But we block here. We block here, and we put Vorinclex here, and we take 6. Then we untap, we probably recur Palaka Worm, gain 7. We would draw a card on its death. I didn't hit lands. If that last turn cycle I hit lands, I'd have even more Scute Swarms. But yeah, like I said, if I can keep the board in a spot where neither of us have any efficient removal and we're just sitting here, then if I can keep the board in a spot where I have Scute Swarm in play, I can just make so many that it doesn't... They can't swing through with a bunch of stuff, but we did have to grind through a crazy amount of stuff. That was a really cool game. Oh no, it's Shieldred. I thought Shieldred would be in a higher tier. Actually, I'm pretty sure Shieldred is in a higher bracket. I thought it was. Really? Okay. Huh, that makes me want to play it again. I genuinely thought this was a better card. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. Alright, we get actual Azusa value. Look at that. See if I can't hit a land off of this. I do! It's also a weird one, but it's a land nonetheless. It would have been nice to get this into play now, but nope. Alright, I got 5 mana, but I don't have anything to do. I can't even crew this. Conqueror's Galleon. Steal yourself, opponent. Steal yourself. For I have the sauce. Opponent definitely had to take time to read that card. Looks like they're not done reading it. Opponent is like, what? I've played 2 cards you've probably never seen. 2 very random cards. Alright, this is the problem with Azusa. You have nothing to do. You dump all the lands, and then you just have to bank on a powerful card out of your hand, which we did not have. But any 6-drop is good, assuming this Elvish Mystic doesn't die. This card would be spooky. Well, not really. I'm not anywhere near this. Take action. Valagate Recovery. That just picks up a land. Well, actually, no. You know what? We're just doing this. Yeah, we're just going to do this. Gonna go find a 1. Does it matter which one? I guess Gilded Goose? Play this as a land. Play you. Well, at least we're drawing 2 cards a turn. It's just not the greatest. But if I have nothing to do with my mana, this is kind of cool. I don't know. I never thought of it as this kind of card. Alright, do you play Shieldred? You do. It's just that Shieldred. Alright, let's get rid of Goosey Boy. Take action. Actually, maybe that was wrong. Maybe the food spam was totally reasonable, and that was just a terrible idea. Who knows? I certainly don't. None of these are particularly strong. Let's just get the land here, because I can play multiple lands, so. And then crack this food. And have nothing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so if I have another mana source here, I can actually play Ulamog. Who knows if it's good enough. No discard, no discard, no discard, no discard. Good, 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 good. Alright, Ulamog. Please. I need you. Oh, I need you, buddy. Do the thing with the stuff, please. Yep. Yes. Alright, so what do I hit? I hit Shieldred and land? I guess I could hit both Shieldreds. No, we're going to hit a land here. I don't, because this is spammable. They can just keep recasting it, and I'm not answering it doing that. But this could be a problem later in the game. I'm just going to take out their lands. It's pretty easy for them to kill this, though. Looks like they're already trying to kill it. This has Death Touch, so attacks exile at the end of combat. Okay. If I did hit Shieldred, I could have flipped that. Baleful Mastery does it. This looks like Baleful Mastery. If I had to take a guess. Not Baleful Mastery. Okay, you got it. Ulamog, unfortunately, is not the end-all, be-all. Well, they're going to put this on Chapter 2 to tutor for an answer to Ulamog. I'm still going to swing with it. At least my opponent can't swing. Well, can they? No, they can't. I get a 10-10 indestructible. They can't swing at me. Yeah, if I exiled Shieldred and not a land, I actually could have crewed and attacked with this, and that very likely could have been the right play. It wasn't on my radar, to be honest. Oh well. Oh, right, they can deal with it right now. I don't even get an attack in. Oh, look, it's Baleful Mastery, like I said. What a surprise. Probably the only card in their entire deck that answers it, but they have 15 ways to find it. Okay, that's a good draw. That's a draw. Let's do this first. Maybe I find something cooler. Toski's a card. Is Toski a card here? Toski's a card here, yeah. We like Toski. Not gonna play it though. Still no attack. They can reanimate my goose, sure. They don't have green mana. They do have green mana. They can spam food tokens. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is... Okay, sure. No. Well, at least it didn't kill Toski, I guess. Alright, Bard. Alright, Instrument, do your thing. Find me the money. So, what's the best one here? Vorinclex? Probably? I can't flip it, though, but... It does find me lands, so it helps me keep up with the activation cost and the casting cost of future things. So, this makes sense. Alright, Toski. I'm going to sauce them with the 2/2/2s, I think, right? I can even swing with Azusa. I really don't care, right? No, Azusa's a free block for the goose, so it doesn't get me anywhere. They're willing to keep the goose around. Not upset about that one. Alright, so barring any discard, we do win next turn. We do win next turn. They can draw up to 2, right? And then when they draw, they can draw again and draw again, right? Every time they draw, they gain life. So they can draw however much they want, right? Because they gain life and they can do it again and again. That's a really cool combo. That's cool. I mean, it costs mana, though, so it's up to them to decide how many cards they want to draw. Honestly, drawing a bunch in this spot kind of makes sense, just because I might not be able to kill them with damage if they gain that much life, but they disagree. Each player mills 10, and then they hit something crazy. They hit Ulamog, and they hit Cityscape Leveler? Or the Great Henge? I guess Cityscape Leveler and Ulamog. They don't have haste, though. And that, I don't believe, is enough. Another 18 points of toughness. Is that enough to not die to Craterhoof? I don't think it is. That might be enough. We'll see. Math is for blockers. My opponent has 18. 18 plus 5. 23. 43. 52? No, 50 exactly? 50 exactly? So I can play this first. Unfortunately, I can't crew with the buffed thing. It'll just stay as a 210. The crew is 4, huh? So I play this. It's 1, 2, what's this? It's plus 5 plus 5. No, it's plus 6 plus 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. So 36. $45. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Yep, it's not enough. It does force a bunch of blocks, but it's not enough to kill them. They didn't block with Shieldred, dude. They wanted to keep Shieldred in play. They wanted to keep Shieldred in play, dude. They didn't do the math. Oh, dude, I was dead. I was dead on board if they... if they blocked, I was dead. Right? Because I swing... they block... They go to 5... Or, yeah, they go to 5... And then I'm dead on board, right? Because they have 18 in play, and they swing, and I can't block any of it, because the Cityscape Leveler blows up my blocker. Oh, not necessarily, because I guess if they target this with a Leveler, I can crew in response, or they can blow this up, and I don't crew, and I still have a blocker. So I guess I'm not dead, but that game was not... They just had to block. Oh, yes. A creature would be a problem, but it wouldn't have immediately killed me because they're mono white and don't have any haste. I'm going to Adventurous Impulse for a land. I think, yeah. Liliana. Ah, I didn't hit a land. Ugh. Ugh. Well, this stops the Edict on Liliana, but that's not all that exciting. Okay, well, imagine my opponent was on the play. Did my opponent think I was going to scoop or something? They're like, oh, everyone scoops on a Dark Ritual, so I just waited for you to scoop. Like, I'm not going to scoop tonight. Liliana is not really that scary. Liliana is one of the worst planeswalkers in Historic Brawl, so... A turn 1 Liliana is pretty decent, but again, it's not really that big of a deal. So if they have a removal spell here, it's problematic. If they don't, It's not very problematic. Okay. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm discarding a land? No, let's get rid of you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to keep the Mana Dork in play in my hand. And I'm going to pass. There's a chance they just minus, but like I don't know why they would. They did minus? Well, this undoes the... Because they could go plus and then minus and ultimate it. Now they can't do that. That is so weird to me. I don't understand. Wasn't the whole point of Dark Ritual Liliana the Veil to get this out and do the ultimate? Now you can't? I'm very confused. Alright, we'll make the plus terrible and the minus terrible. That minus, to me, makes no sense. You could have minus 6'd right now and got rid of, I don't know, 3 of my lands or something. Sure. Well, they have no attacks. My top decks are 10 times better than theirs. Well, maybe. Half my deck is lands. My opponent notably did not do anything at all with their Liliana, which is, again, a reason why this card is terrible. It's like your commander literally didn't do anything, it was in play. Never want to be in that position. Okay. You got it. Yep. I really think my opponent was assuming I was going to scoop. Because they, like, sat there for a second after the fact. And, like, oh, they're going to scoop. But I didn't scoop. Because I don't know why I would. Alright, this is actually really good with Azusa. It means I won't draw lands. Alright. 7, 8. I can just cast this. Oof. The Raven Man. Okay. They really want to keep this card, but they can't seem to cast it. That's very strange. I don't know why they started to attack now. Whatever that card is, it is actually castable. Well, maybe it isn't. Hold on, we'll see. Oh, alright. They finally ripped the band-aid off. It was a duress. Sure, I'm not sure that was something to think about. Let's play land. Ooh, the Great Henge. Well, unfortunately, the Great Henge doesn't actually do much. Yeah, I don't, like, I'm not trying to bash on their deck. I like, you know, play what you want. I just, Liliana the Veil is not good at all. Like, there's, I think, 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 better discard, mono black discard commanders. You have Turgrid with the Lantern. You have Davriel. Well, the common Davriel, that one's alright. Not really. You have Tiny Bones. You have that weird dude that like steals spells and out of your opponent's hands and stuff. Like this just doesn't. The minus was terrible, right? Like, and I think their payoff for the early Liliana, they didn't utilize it. They just wanted to kill Azusa with the minus, which I just don't. They even had a blocker too, so they didn't have to worry about me putting this off of 6 loyalty, and then they can just use it and then cast it later, because there was a turn where they didn't do anything, and they could have just recast this on 5 mana and would have been fine, because they weren't willing to plus it, and the minus was terrible, so they could have used it to kill 3 lands, maybe? Something like that, or 2 lands in my... Make me choose a pile between, like, 2 lands in my Tender Shoot or something? I'm not sure. They did have a removal spell, but I really think this should have ultimated at least once. It would have changed the dynamic of the game a little bit, but I probably still would have pulled ahead because their deck doesn't like close it out that fast, it seems. It's just like doing this, and if my hand is empty and I'm top decking in a mono green giant creature deck, half of your strategy goes out the window, but GG. Okay, so this is a pretty uninteractive uninteractable matchup. Alright. I have a lot of naturalizes in hand for Cody specifically, and mana rocks, but they are every color, so they don't have to rely on artifact mana. So like there's a fair amount of non-artifact mana as well. I was kind of hoping I didn't have to cycle this, and we didn't have to. I guess I just play Azusa next turn. I don't really have anything to Sage. I guess. I don't know. Let's swing. Let's swing. Alright, they just snap, take it. If I can bait a counterspell, I will. I don't have any lands in hand. My opponent doesn't know that. Oh, well, now they do. Now they do. Kind of hoping they would do something about this Azusa. Tail's End or something. Okay. Free attack is free. I will draw. Not going to naturalize. Land, please? Well, shoot. This doesn't do anything, but if I can force a counter spell, I should. Dang it. play stuff. Alright, not a sweeper. Stop with the sweepers. No board wipe. Please and thank you. Specifically Ritual of Soot. Anything but Ritual of Soot would be amazing. Spot removal, yes. This is scary. Big scary. No. Shoot. This is really bad. Lead with the attack, I guess. This is real bad. Would have loved to have done other things. Would have loved to have done other things. So here come the instant speed spells, I assume. Opponent's reading my stuff. I know, it's bad. I know, opponent, I know. Oh, Frozen Grip. Okay. Yeah. You got it. And there it is. Okay, so I can play Azusa again. Doesn't really do much. Just play this. I don't even want to plus my own lands. It feels really bad. I'm just going to... I mean, I'm all in, right? I have to kill my opponent. I have to kill them. But this does not feel good at all. Yep, like I said, making creatures, lands creatures is terrible, but... Wait a minute. Oh, I was about to say, didn't they just, like, not edicts? Okay, that's not how that card reads. Take action. Alright, well, like I said, absolutely punished for doing what I did. Completely punished. Should not have animated a land. It's just the worst thing I could have done. Now I don't have Vorn clicks. I'd be in a completely different universe if I didn't animate my land. Which is, it's a hard line to see, but it was a correct one. But it is hard to appreciate that. Is that red? Alright, they found red. I have no answer to that. Yeah. So, what do I do? I have no answer. Alright, you got it. Your next spell will have Cascade. I'm just gonna do this and hope it's good enough. And by good enough, I mean, I don't even know what I mean. Just get 3 lands out of my deck. I can Portal to Phyrexia next turn. And maybe... I mean, this is only spells, though. That's so degenerate. Here comes Casualties of War? No, Unleash the Inferno. You got it. What does it hit? Oh, okay, that's... Yep. We're not really upset with that one. Don't really need Azusa. Could have been way worse. Also, still could have been... Well, they picked up swords? What? Why did they do that? Okay. I didn't expect this to be an outcome. Wow. They actually played a creature threat, too, that I could deal with. That was huge. They also picked up a spell that I'm not, like... Okay. You got it. Frozen Grip is out of the way as well. When it gets rid of 2 board wipes. Okay. I don't know why that took so long. That was a must-answer threat. And they had the answer, so... Good on you. Let's lead with this. Can I activate this? Oh, not even close. Which one's more important? Guess it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. Alright. Titan of Industry. That's a card. I have to, like, start the turn with a threat, so this Vorinclex is just going to get hit by swords no matter what I do. And I'd rather that get hit by swords than kind of anything else. But the fact that they had an answer to Portal to Phyrexia means this game just got insanely more difficult. A braid. Haha, doesn't work. You fool. It is indestructible. Ooh, they wasted a treasure on it too. That doesn't feel good. Alright, so I can Titan that. And I probably should. Azusa, when you're drawing this many cards, is nice. Can I play this and then Titan? Land, I can play 3 lands up to... No, I can't. Ugh. Ugh, fine. So, shield counter... in this. Play land, play you. Okay. So if I'm drawing this many cards, Azusa is perpetually relevant, which is really nice. They make 2 4/4s. You got it. Gonna lead with Azusa here. And then I guess this? Sure. If there's a land on top, we get to play it. There is. Land on top? No. Do I want to pick? No, let's just shuffle that away. Land on top. Yay. Ulamog. That's a pretty good one. And if it doesn't pan out, we won't cast it. Alright, I don't feel like I have a good attack here, because it only kills 1 token, and that just doesn't feel great. Also, if these tokens are stuck in play, they can't really cast a board wipe. If they have something that, like, messes with the top of my deck, I can shuffle away my Ulamog. So they can't, like, steal it with some weird spell. I don't know. I have actually killed Cody twice. 2 more board wipes looted away. Definitely running all of the sweepers. The top 5. Yes! Haha! Alright, so next turn we just untap. We draw this and another card because of this. We draw 2. We Ulamog 2 lands. Probably the 2 red sources here. At that point I probably would swing. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not, because this is going to happen, right? If my opponent has creatures in play, they're disincentivized to cast their own board wipes. So if they're getting rid of them in 2 at a time over and over, they don't feel like that's relevant, and I just cast this next turn. I hit these 2. They're back to 6th. Cody's never doing anything. I tap this. Can I play 2 big threats at the same time? I don't think so. So 11, 12, 13, 14. This, I can't even crack this, unfortunately, so it doesn't count. I have 14, 15, 16. So 16 mana, I can tuck 2 lands, and then exile 2 lands and tuck 1. I guess I tuck this one, because it comes in tapped. Put it on top of their deck, and that's probably all she wrote, right? Because then they only have these lands, and then they're top decking a land that comes in tapped. And then I can tutor for Craterhoof Behemoth to kill them on the next turn cycle. Alternatively, I can just go get Craterhoof Behemoth right now and kill them with that. They're at 15. This is 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus another 5. 15. 15 plus 16. And they have... Yeah, alright, so never mind. Ulamog wouldn't have been the play. We can just get Craterhoof Behemoth. It is on me to see that, and given how long I just took to explain everything, there's a good chance I would not have seen that, and I would have just snap casted Ulamog in this spot, which would probably have me win the game anyways. But, I mean, that's a reason to analyze the board. Take a second to look at decisions, and this is actually a point in which I actually had decisions, so it would have been right to just kill them with Craterhoof, I assume, like, unless they have something they can find for 2 mana off this charm that does something, but who knows. Okay, so after playing a bunch of games, it was exactly what I expected it to be. And surprisingly, Instrument of the Bards was really, really good. It is almost a 1 mana Phyrexian Arena effect, where you just draw 2 cards a turn. It's a guaranteed card type. It will guarantee big threats if it sits in play, and it usually does. Obviously, playing Azusa, it doesn't make a lot of sense to play a lot of mana dorks, and really doesn't make a lot of sense to play a lot of ramp spells. You just want ways to put lands in your hand, not necessarily in play, because, you know, Azusa, so you just play stuff like this. On turn 3, or whenever you get your 3rd mana source, turn 2 with a mana dork, if you have Cultivate in hand, you just cast that instead of Azusa if you don't have a bunch of lands in hand. And even running 43, 44 lands, I consistently only had like 3 lands in my hand. And even if I had a 4th land, if I had Cultivate, it would probably make sense to cast Cultivate over the Azusa, even if Azusa would put a land from hand into play. Because this would do the same thing, except it adds a land to my hand at the same time. So this is arguably just worse than spamming Cultivate. But sometimes when you draw a million cards with like the One Ring or something, and you can keep this in play and just play a bunch of lands, it does pay off. But at that point, you're just win more. You're just drowning your opponent in so much value they can't do anything. And mono green does have a pretty favorable matchup against control decks, because again, you're just big threats. They have to answer all of them over and over. You're eventually going to, you know, trample over and win. So that was cool. The graveyard-based strategy with the lands was very good every time it came up. So I would advise that if you are an Azusa player, although you're probably already on that. The one time I played Cultivator Colossus, I got like 40 lands. That was very satisfying. Unfortunately, I didn't have a Scute Swarm in play, though. There was one game in which I actually could have attacked with this, and it would have done something, but most part, I would almost prefer this just to be another large threat, even if it costs more mana than this. I just like this because it could turn my early poop into looting poop into like another threat. It's just like, you know, drawing more than 1 card a turn to find some kind of threat with Azusa makes a lot of sense. Arch of Orazka should probably be in here too. I don't know how consistently I got the City's Blessing though, but you know, I have Enclave, so who knows. So yeah, I'd probably take out the Galleon. It wasn't great. But other than that, everything else felt really fine. I never got to Kender's Transformation. Destiny Spinner never came up. I know there's a 1-mana version of this, the Elf, the Mythic Rare. I don't own it, but I'm not super big on this because, as we saw, every time my opponent had counter magic, I can just push through it because I'm playing a bunch of threats until they run out of answers, right? So I don't even know if I need this. And even if I did have it, it can still pretty easily just die. It's just a 2/3, right? All black removal is going to kill it. All white removal is going to kill it. If they're Grixis, Esper, literally anything other than mono blue, this is pretty reasonable to just have die, and then they're back to countering your stuff anyways if they also have blue with their removal. Say like Sauron playing Grixis Control. So I'm not big on this strategy, on this like card. I beat every control player, really, so I don't know. I beat every control player that like had the game go for a long time, in which that card wouldn't have done anything. The naturalized effects felt fine. I still really like Line Up the Shot. This card just feels amazing every time. Elven Farsight is also good. I don't know if I ever actually cast it. I might have cast it once. It's just, I mean, it's like a green Ordain, right? I mean, it's just the green Preordain. It's just really, really, really solid. I really don't know why you wouldn't like that. Anything else to say about it? Don't think so. Conduit of Worlds is very, 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 very slow. Very slow, but it got there. It got there. Let me look. Nope, that's it. Yep, everything else felt fine. The wins were really satisfying. This commander does have a surprising capacity to make the games last pretty long. The games in which it wins last pretty long, I mean, right? You just play like 2 or 3 big threats, not just vomit lands, play a giant threat and swing. There was more to it than that with every win I had. It was multiple threats. which I didn't necessarily expect. Maybe that's not the average, but I don't know. I've been rambling too much. I'll keep talking about this till the sun comes back up. But let me know what you think about this list as of Azusa. If you have an Azusa list, let me know if it's anything like this or what I could do to make it better. Remember, I stream over on Twitch, 6:30 Eastern. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.